try and get one more video out before YouTube enforces its new regulations. Subscribers. So this video is a Nagios alert that I wrote to validate Google Authentication over the Linux bash shell CLI, which is command line interface. I've got 3 files here: the Google Auth shell script, a password text file, and a user text file. We just run the shell script with bash, and you'll see the output says OK. Outside of the scope of this walkthrough, you have a couple of different values for Nagios: OK, critical, and unknown. Taking a look inside this shell script, we set the output of the user text file to a variable called email. This will be your Gmail username, and same with the password. We'll just show the contents of that real quick. Simply echoes out the username. If they're supplied via arguments, they'll overwrite what's in the file. So the files are defaults. Command line arguments will overwrite it. So here we're going to set it to my Gmail. You can see it still works when we feed it garbage for a password. It crit fails. Takes those values and it creates a variable called text, which it then base 64 encodes, and it creates it into a single string. We then set the output of the expect script to an output variable. You will have to install expect to use this. Expect scripting is fairly old. Just to be a little more robust, we can set the full path to the output of a which command. Run a -C option, and we'll run everything with inside the parentheses. Just to kind of go through what we're doing. Run OpenSSH and connect to Gmail, the SMTP server, and you'll see we get back a 220 ready for input. So expect waits until it reads 220 to take its next action, which we then post the HLO of localhost, and we wait for a login prompt. To which we then return off plane. So we'll just go through it manually. and we wait through 334, at which point we send the base 64 encoded string. We'll scroll up here for a little bit, and I'll just run a new echo and capture it real quick. So we send it to EHLO, localhost, it returns 250, we send off plain, it then returns 334, we send the base 64 encoding, and we get back an accepted. At this point, we've now authenticated with Google's SMTP. And that's all this script is really doing, is validating that the credentials we have are correct. It stores the output of the expect script into the output shell script. The output shell variable. We'll just echo that out real quick. You can see we have the accepted output. Just to kind of walk through how we're getting the OK or crit, which is what we would feed to Nagios. We just grep the output for accepted and check the shell return code of 0 or non-zero. Here we're going to force a failure. As you can see, it's non-zero, which is how we determine a critical failure. So if you think that's my actual password, that's crazy. The Google SMTP authorization actually won't work over the command line unless you set up an application password because of two-form factor. So we just do a little Google and find how to authenticate with an application, and we'll end up in the right area. As you can see, like I said, if you have two-step form factor, this won't work. So we have to set up an app password. We go to app passwords, and there it is for Nagios. So we're gonna delete it. And now that it's gone, the shell script should fail. So we'll set up a new one, name it Nagios, copy it, and we'll update our text file. And it works. that's how you authenticate with Google's SMTP email server via the Linux command line interface. Hope you found this useful.